life. In this way, they lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. In this way, they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so they may take hold of the life that is truly life. None of that has anything to do with the person that's receiving the blessing. You say they're going, did he just read that 3 or 4 times? Yes. Because this teaches that how you act with your money has a direct correlation to your eternal reward in heaven. It has nothing to, these teachings have nothing to do with the person who is receiving the blessing. It has everything to do with a person who is willing to trust God and give. Self-absorption robs you and it robs me of our blessings with God, not only because we can be like God, not only because we can act like God, but there is actually a direct correlation with our eternal reward. Folks, you've heard the phrase for 1,000 years, it's more blessed to give than receive. So they're going, is that biblical? 1 Timothy chapter 6. I'm blessed whenever I give. And as you read these verses, it helps you understand that God gives so that we can be generous. Show me a tightwad and I'll show you somebody that's not very happy. I have, as of yet, to find somebody who holds on to their money like it's the most important thing in their life and find that person having a great life. I've never found it yet. I know a lot of people who I have known all kinds of people that hoard their money, and they're the people that I would rather shoot has to look at. In Jesus' name. I can't stand to be around them. They're negative, they're cynical, they're attacking, they find the worst in everything. They come up with 6 reasons why they can't do whatever, even though nobody ever asked them to do it anyway. On and on and on and on. Whenever I'm generous, the Lord gives back to me. Not necessarily financially, but with the blessings of life. And I understand that how I act with my money here somehow has a direct correlation with what happens with my eternal reward. My self-absorption with finances is an incredible, incredible part of my service to God, but there's actually more. You see, as you read these verses, it's not just about the finances, but it's also about the deeds, to be generous with our deeds. It's an amazing thing how self-absorption affects our finances, but it's also an incredible thing how self-absorption affects our service and our support of others. We are part of a church that says no one stands alone, and yet to do that, we have to fight against ourselves, because here's what happens. Whenever we fail at something, whenever we do something that we know we shouldn't be doing, that we know we shouldn't be involved in, we do it anyway, we fail, we know I shouldn't, I know I shouldn't, I know I shouldn't, I know I shouldn't, and here I wind up in this spot in my life. I'm sitting there going, how did I get here? What did I do? How did this happen? What happens with that is our own shame and our own guilt and our own misery separates us and we withdraw. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be open and say, hey, you know what, I'm a screw-up. I am an idiot. I've just done this. I've been involved with this. I've lost this. I've messed this away. I completely failed here over and over and over. And yet, it is in those areas that I have failed at that I gain the most wisdom to turn around and then help other people as they're going through problems. I don't know if you've ever been to an AA meeting or not, but whenever you have an AA meeting, the person stands up and says, hi, my name is Jeff, I'm an alcoholic. Because if we're not going to start with honesty and laying it out there to begin with, you're wasting our time. And if I wanted to, I could have Alan come up here, who works at the rehab center, and tell you all kinds of things about why you do that. But a person who gets involved with a 12-step program, those steps involve you understanding that you got to get real with yourself and the people around you. One of the churches I was involved with before Meadowbrook, we actually went to a halfway house, or actually went to a rehab area, and actually brought people to church. And I still remember the day there was a guy that got up, and several of them would get up, throughout, the course of the months and years that we were doing it, but there was one guy got up, and I can't remember his name, and I'm going to use the name Greg. That's not his name. Honestly don't remember. And it seemed like we had about 15 of those people there that day from the rehab place. And he gets up and he says, "Hi, my name is Greg. I'm a cocaine addict and an alcoholic." And this whole section of people right here in unison said, "Hi, Greg." And the whole church just turned off. And they controlled it. And he went in, and this guy, his tone of voice, his mannerisms, his words, everything said, "I'm not jerking you around. I'm not playing a game. I really want your prayer and support because I've been fighting cocaine for decades. I've been fighting alcohol for decades. And I really want to get better, and I don't know how." And I watched that church melt from pure, unadulterated honesty. There was no self-absorption there. This guy was as naked as in front of that group as if he didn't have any clothes on. I mean, he was as vulnerable and open as you could ever possibly be, in private or in public. And I watched him and I watched this group and I'm thinking, I wonder if anybody gets this. How pure this is. Folks, we make mistakes every day. And we know that. But we don't talk about it. We make huge mistakes on a monthly basis. We know that. But we don't talk about it. And yet, it is those mistakes and those failures that give us the wisdom to turn around and help other people as they go through it. If we've got the guts or the backbone or whatever the body parts to stand up and say, "You know what? I am a failure in this area and I have learned about it. If you're failing in it, let me know because maybe I've learned something you haven't learned yet." Now here's the thing. Every one of us in this room that have children or grandchildren, we understand that we teach our children at a young age. Everybody makes mistakes. That's okay. Learn from your mistakes and grow from them. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Of course. But we don't allow that for the adults. We don't give ourselves that allowance. And we sure don't give it to everybody else. That's why people don't talk about it, because as soon as you put that information out there, everybody judges everybody. You did what? Man, my life's not as screwed up as theirs. Good. And we miss the point because of self-absorption. What kind of church would this be if people stood up and said, "Hi, my name is Jeff," or whatever your name is. I'm a pornographer. My name is Jeff, and I have an anger issue. Hi, my name is Jeff, and my marriage is pretty much over. I need help. What would it be like if we got out of our own way, admitted mistakes and failures, and said, "Would you help me?" What would it be like if we got up and said, "Hi, my name is Jeff, and I pretty much screwed up finances every way I possibly can. But I finally figured out what's going on with this. I've been working for several months, and we figured out solutions. And if anybody's having problems with this, let me know, because I think maybe we can help you." What would it be like if we're not so absorbed in ourselves that we don't want to admit mistakes? What would it be like if we're not so self-absorbed that we don't want to say, "You know what, after trying every possible wrong avenue, I think I may have found the right one. Maybe I can save you from looking at all these different places. Maybe it can help." What would it be like? I think it might be Christ-like. Perhaps. Because you see, this all falls under the umbrella of the great biblical truth of Romans 8:28 that says all things